I'm a pretty eccentric person. I realize that. I kind of wear that on my sleeves. One of my friends told me that I looked like someone who would own a lightsaber. All right, you all agree, I guess. And that's good. I guess we're on the same page. And the only way I could respond was with the truth. So my friend told me that, and back to him I said, I can't believe you would underestimate me so severely. Because I own 3 lightsabers. Like, you thought I said, thank you. Yeah, you get it. You thought I stopped at 1. That's a rookie number. I just custom ordered a 4th. I don't know who here cares about this, but the saber I just custom ordered, it's a play on the Darth Maul saber. So it has 2 stems coming off a centralized base, but I played it up and I did green stems for it. So it will look nice, everyone. Let me guarantee that. If only I owned a home. Yeah, then I'd be able to afford a whole lightsaber room. I'm sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with a stranger. I just have a lightsaber shelf. It's inadequate. I have no space to do my movements. Besides for collecting, you're thinking about the movements now, and that makes me happy. Besides for collecting lightsabers, I have some wonderful hobbies. I have a very full life. I'm excited to share that with you all today. My first favorite hobby is diagnosing myself with illnesses. I spend, and you as well. May I ask you what's wrong this week?
Everything.
Oh my God. Okay. Well, good luck to you. Well, like me and this person, diagnosing myself with illnesses, do it multiple times a week. I cannot tell you how much time it passes. My second favorite hobby is diagnosing everyone around me with illnesses. So first row, watch out. This could happen at any time. I've got a good radar for this. And then my third favorite hobby, and this is a spicy one, everyone. I love to diagnose my own doctors with illnesses. This one I like. I like this one a lot. Maybe you should try it, because I don't know what's wrong with my doctors. They're always running 15 minutes late to everything, and they like run into the appointments and they're like, Miss Haxler, something's wrong with you. And that's when I like to interject. I'm like, no, something's wrong with you. It makes me feel good, everyone. It makes me feel like we're not just doctor-patient. We're actually just 2 friends gabbing away. That's what I really want, just gab time. I'm doing a new thing lately, and that is that I'm volunteering in my free time at it's a rehabilitation center near my apartment. I like it. Thank you. Yes, I think everyone should volunteer. I like volunteering there. Most of the residents of this particular center are like 85 and up, so they're what you would call senior citizens, or maybe you would just call them old. I like old people, and old people have always really liked me. I think it is my voice. I think old people listen to me speak, and it reminds them of a time gone by. Like they hear my words and they say, oh my God, I know you. You sound like my milkman from 1962. And I get it, everyone. I have like a transatlantic accent. We don't know where it's come from. I don't speak like anyone in my family. You don't know if I'm about to start singing, there goes my baby. And then Arzu will come back with a giant cane and like hook me off stage. No, it's not going to happen tonight, everyone, I promise you. You like the little song? Savannah Bananas. Cool. If you don't know, that's a baseball team I like. Sorry, don't worry, everyone, we're getting back on track. Let's see, what else? I've been volunteering at the rehabilitation center for about 6 months now. I do like it. A lot of the residents, they like to bring me problems that I can solve. A big problem right now that's like a big conversation piece is that they want to go out at night, but they no longer feel comfortable driving at night, and they want my help with this. And I've tried to explain to them, I'm like, you don't need to drive at night. I don't drive at all. I use Uber. And I tried to show them like my phone, and I'm like, it's just like a taxi, just like you remember, except it lives in your phone. And they're very apprehensive about it, and I can kind of understand the apprehension. Has anyone else here been in an Uber ride that's so bad that other drivers of other cars are like glaring into your Uber, and you have to gesture like, I don't even know this man. like I too am a victim of this. In fact, help. I was in an Uber ride once, and I have a very big problem where I sometimes can't stop myself from saying exactly my thought process. And so I stepped into the car, and it smelled very strongly of marijuana. And so I said, this car smells very strongly of marijuana. And then the Uber driver said, do you want some now? And I was like, sir, we're going on the road. Not now. It's wild. I'm in my 30s now. I'm thinking about adopting a highway. Because whenever I go on a trip lately, I've seen these signs on the side of the road, and it's like, adopt this road, adopt this highway, and I'm like, that's something I could do to give back to the local infrastructure. But remember, I'm not allowed to drive, so I'd have to call an Uber to my highway and be like, look at it, sir, my highway. I brought this up the other day, and someone was like, what if you lost custody of the highway? I was like, that would be so sad. I'd be like, don't worry, mommy's okay, highway. I don't do well with subtleties. Everything for me has to be very spelled out. So when I was dating, I had heard my friends talk about this phrase. It's called Netflix and chill. And I thought that the only way to do Netflix and chill was that someone had to specifically say to you, do you want to Netflix and chill? And once I was at a bar with some friends and someone approached me, we were talking for a while, and then eventually they said something along the lines of, do you want to go back to my house to watch Netflix? And I said, no, thank you, because nothing good is streaming on Netflix right now. And like a little while later, they left and my friends had to intervene, and they're like, no, they were trying to get you to come home with them. And I was like, oh my God, it was for sex. And I was like, it would have been a really great evening to have sex, because there's nothing good streaming on Netflix right now. I was like, it would break up the monotony that's been going on, because I just keep streaming the same stuff over and over. Anyway, my therapist, I said, I am doing this now. My therapist, it's therapy homework. I'm supposed to leave the house at least once a week for a social event. So I left the house. This was a few months ago. And I went to a party, and in the middle of the party, there was a charcuterie board. And it's like, okay, we get it. You do well. Like, you can afford to cut up meat. We see it. But I was really looking at this charcuterie board, and there was like this plump piece of salami on it. And I was like, ooh, I want it. So I went up to the charcuterie board, and I grabbed the piece of salami, and I tried to bring it to my mouth to eat it, but it fell out of my hands and fell onto the ground. I was like, that's okay, we're gonna turn this night around. So what I did, everyone, is I bent down on all fours like an animal, and I ran my hand across the ground because there was a lot of trash down there, and I was trying to find my piece of trash. And then I found it, and I was holding it in my hand by my pocket like this, and I made a very poor decision at that moment, and that is that I tried to rejoin the party. And unfortunately, someone saw me do all of this, and in front of everyone at the party, she pointed at me, and she shouted, and she said, Stacy, don't put that meat in your pocket. Now, everyone, I don't keep meat in my pocket, okay? I'm not that type of person. But I had never been to this house before, and I didn't know where the trash can was, and I wasn't going to ask, so I put the meat in my pocket. The meat is in my pocket. It's very uncomfortable. And can I say this? I grew up in the 90s, and in the 90s, you always knew where the trash can was. It was like in a corner somewhere. I see it. Nowadays, people have remodeled their kitchens, and they hide their trash away in a drawer, making you look like the fool when you open up every drawer of their house, being like, is this your trash can? No, it's not. It's just your personal documents. Well, is this your trash can? Everyone, if you hide your trash, what else could you be hiding? I mean, you must have so many secrets, and I love to gossip. I'm like, you have too many secrets for me. Wild. I live in an apartment community. Does anyone else here? Woo! Yeah, I've lived in my apartment community for over 10 years. I really like it, but I've seen like a change in management companies. And when the new management company came in, they made a lot of changes, and they said that the community would become better. But I don't think that has happened. So what has occurred is I used to pay my rent by check. and I would drop it off. And I like the erudite method of being like, I'm writing a check, and like, because I'm kind of old-fashioned. But now they've changed it, and we have to pay our rent online. But I noticed when I downloaded my online statement that in addition to the rent, I was paying a 95-cent convenience fee to pay the rent online. So I went to my management company and I was like, is this some type of error? Like, what is this? And they're like, no, that's the convenience fee to pay the online portal, to pay your rent. And I'm like, so you're saying that I have to pay you to then pay you? Like, this doesn't, like, I had to pay them money, the 95 cents to, everyone, you're not as upset about this as I am, but I was like, at that moment, I have been looking for something to do. And I was like, this is a cause that I can get behind. And I was like, residents, we're rallying together. We're not going to pay the 95 cents. And I swear to you, I could almost hear the music from like Les Mis, and I was like, do you hear the people sing? We're not gonna pay the 95. Well, it's been 3 months. We're still paying the 95 cents, but we're working on it. This is something that I am a sleepwalker. Any other sleepwalkers here? Oh, wonderful. May I ask you, sir, where do you go?
Oh, everywhere.
Everywhere?
Outside, inside.
Oh, so you also,
up and down the stairs.
you've woken up outside.
Oh, yeah.
That's scary. So the scariest thing that's ever happened to me, 3 years ago, I woke up from a bout of sleepwalking and I also was outside. Like outside the full building, everyone. Like realistically, I was going back to nature. And my very first thought when I woke up like this, and I was surrounded by trees and I was in a bush. My very first thought was I kidnapped and then returned? It's possible the kidnappers just picked me up, carried me out, and said, you know what?
Never mind.
Maybe anyone else. Like, it's wild. So but I'm very fortunate. I don't know if you do this. I see a sleep doctor now.
Not yet.
I've seen it's a very kind man. I was really on the fence about it, but because I didn't want to do a sleep study. But the sleep studies now that you used to have to do a sleep study, you would have to check yourself into a hospital for like a 3-night stay. They have these special boxes now. You just take it home and you connect it to your head. It's like a headband, and then you return the box to them. It's very comfortable. So when I returned the box to the doctor's office and he did the little results thing, he said, Miss Axler, I have a funny story to tell you. And I responded with, ooh, I love humor. Hit me with it. And he said this, everyone. He said, for an average of 15 minutes every night, you stop breathing. And I said, that must only be funny to you because I value my life. And he said, it's fine, Miss Axler, this is okay. All you need is a CPAP machine. Now, I'm looking out at you all, and you all look young and healthy and energetic. Some of you might not know what this is. A CPAP machine is a specialized device. It pumps oxygen into you. It also makes you look like an octopus. And everyone, I've learned something in my life, and that is that sexiness as a concept can be charted on a graph. So everyone follow me here. You're born, you get your graph, and all your life you're either adding points to your sexy graph or you are actively taking points away. When I was in my 20s, I had an abundance of points because I was part of a very sought-after a cappella team. And thank you, yes, Acapocalypse. Unfortunately, now in my 30s, point-wise, I'm hovering around negative 45. And I can trace all these negative points back to a very poor decision I made a few years ago when I decided to learn the language known as Elvish. And you know what the problem is right here? It's that no one here doubts I know Elvish. And that hurts my feelings, everyone. All right, you've been a great crowd. I have been Stacey Axler. Thank you so much, and give it up for your host.